Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another edition of NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005. It is the Busch Series Custom Schedule Season Race number 9 of 31 at the Levi Signature Speedway for the running of the Coyote Run 250. Half-mile triangular short track, and it will be 250 laps worth of racing in tonight's race. This is going to be an interesting one to say the least. We've had some wild races at this track in the past. Our Truck Series race here on the Custom Schedule Season there was a pretty good one and ended up finishing down to the wire. We had a massive crash in the middle of the race as well where we saw a truck flip and a big pile up as well in that in turn 2. That's going to be the treacherous corner on this racetrack today, especially when the field is tightly compacted together on the start, restarts, and then lap traffic. Like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we're about to get into this race today. We do live NASCAR commentary for realistic NASCAR commentary for both the NASCAR video games and most importantly the real races on the race weekend. As you just saw this last weekend, we did the live commentary for the Cup Series race at Las Vegas. We'll be doing more live commentary for an actual race this coming weekend. We'll be doing the Cup Series at Phoenix once again this weekend with the pre-race and post-race as well, being live streamed before and after the events. So with that being said, let's get into tonight's deal of racing. I think we'll enjoy this one collectively. Joshua Rumsey, Dark Crypto, Michael Turner, R6, Furfur Express, Davion West, welcome to the stream, guys. How you like the car I made for you? I did not see it. I have not been on my phone all day. I just charged my phone while I was at work, and I really haven't seen much since. Of my phone, at least. Oh, wow. Stack up off the start, but green flag is in the air. We are underway. Tim Fedewa on the pole will lead the field to the green. No practice or qualifying for Greg Biffle as he is starting at the rear of the field, as you guys saw right there in the last place position. And this is going to be a wild track to be starting from the back. Biffle's going to take his time trying to get his way through here so he can try to make his way through the pack as cleanly as possible, as they are 2 and 3 wide on lap 2 off the exit of turn 1 through turn 2. Biffle closes in quite a bit in turn 3. Oh, almost had trouble in turn 3. The 152 car moved across the front bumper of the 86 of Billy Parker, nearly causing an accident. Parker gets loose in turn 1 on his own as well. Biffle just kind of sitting in last, buying his own time and minding his own business. At the back of the pack right now, he gets blocked by the 117 into turn 1, who drives it in deep, trying to get to the inside of Parker. Biffle kind of backed out of it, letting those guys race in front of him. Dangerous thing about being at the back is if we do see a big crash, would Biffle be able to potentially miss it? One of the hardest places to try and pass cars, especially cleanly. Biffle's not DNF'd in a Busch Series race this season. I'd like to keep it that way. He's had the points lead ever since winning the season opener at Daytona. More contact. Second time he's made contact with the car in the first 7 laps, and now he's in the wall in turn 2, getting a bit tight. Back into the gas a bit too soon there. Mentioned that that's probably the most treacherous corner on the racetrack, especially when you're side by side, and Greg Biffle overdrives at that time. WWE 2K22 is a lot of fun. Yeah, I haven't gotten it. I don't know when I'm going to get it, but I do plan on getting it at some point. I'm hooked on SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 recently. Really, since I got back from Auto Club, I've been playing quite a bit of it, on my free time at least. I've had a couple of rainy days since I got back on my days off, so I haven't really done any like errand running or anything. I'll definitely come around to it eventually. From everything I saw prior to the game's release, it seemed pretty promising too. Wish I could say the same for NASCAR 21 Ignition, but hey, maybe NASCAR 22 will be better. Greg Biffle's car is definitely way too tight. Turn 2 is a corner you can nearly go flat out, and you kind of want to go full throttle through that corner if you could help it. Ooh, Parker squeezing Biffle in turn 1. Biffle still in last place as we're coming to lap 13. Fedewa has led every lap so far from the pole. He is winless this season. Hasn't really been in contention for a win yet this year. But in a race where we're not going to be seeing any Cup Series regulars excluding Greg Biffle, this is maybe a race where he could shine. And obviously track position is going to matter, as you're seeing here. Biffle has not passed a car yet. Well, he has passed the car a couple times, I guess, but he's gotten passed right back because he overdrives the corner when he gets into traffic. His car gets tighter in traffic, and he's already dealing with a tight race car as it is. We're only 14 laps in. That may get worse and worse as the run carries on. Without practice and qualifying, it's obviously harder to hit the setup, and I think Biffle might have missed the setup from the get-go. This is likely only going to be a 1 pit stop race today. Could be a 2-stopper, but I'm thinking it's only going to be a 1-stopper. So whatever adjustments they're going to make, they're going to have to go big with them. Gets around Parker. Seemed like there's a stack up off the exit of turn 1. Biffle was able to make the pass. Overdrives turn 3. Gets into Lance Brantley a bit. Still underneath Brantley into turn 1. Nearly makes contact in turn 1 as well, but he was able to hang on. Oh, big block into turn 3. Brantley almost got back underneath him, but not quite. Biffle finally up 2 positions. You can look at the track map on the upper right-hand corner of the screen and see how much Fedewa is just pulling away from the rest of the field. And with Biffle being at the rear, that could put him in danger of potentially losing a lap. Remember, there is no free pass for being the first driver 1 lap down in the Busch Series in this game. So you want to stay on the lead lap as much as you possibly can. He's going to get underneath that 117 car. Through turn 1, side by side through turn 2, still on the inside into turn 3, and he'll make the pass cleanly. On the 117 car for 40th. Biffle's finished in the top 10 in every single Busch Series race so far this season. His worst finish, in fact, is 3rd, which was at Rockingham. Welcome to the stream, Billy. Ooh, Manny Brown goes really wide in turn 3. 113 car gonna get underneath him. Biffle drives it deep into turn 1. Very close to that inside wall. Going for all the time he can. And his left side's down on the apron. He's got a lot of pressure with those cars he's already passed behind him. They're going side by side right now, so that's going to help him briefly. Biffle with a run into turn 3. Trying to get to the inside of Brown. He overdrove it just a bit. You can see the car wiggle in the middle of the corner. Contact up ahead with some sparks flying. Couldn't tell who from. Which 2 cars, or potentially even more than 2 cars that were making contact. Biffle to the inside of Brown off the exit of turn 3. Should have him in turn 1, at least to stay on the inside. He's not going to clear him yet. Now into turn 2. Oh, crowds him a bit, but no contact. Still going to make the clean pass, and now he'll clear him off of turn 3. It literally took a whole lap to make a pass on Manny Brown for 39th once he got to the inside of him. That is how hard it is and how much you have to tiptoe through these corners without trying to overdrive it. Maybe the most skill-based racetrack we've been to so far this season. The struggle is real for Greg Biffle early on. Gonna try to work through it as best as he can. Like to see this play green for now, but if he gets in potential danger of getting a caution, that's when he'd want the yellow to come out. But he's good for right now. I guess if we get one, we get one, as long as Biffle's not involved. Makes his way to the inside briefly. Had to check up in turn 2. He knew that he was not going to make that corner side by side as low as he entered in, despite having the advantage on that bottom lane off the exit of turn 1. Again, he'll get to the bottom off the exit of turn 1. Contact behind, nearly a crash with the 117 car, and then one of the other cars that Greg Biffle's already passed. Trouble, turn 3, car in the wall. It's the 119. And then Jason Keller got ran into the back of by Greg Biffle in that stack up. That's going to allow Fedewa to close in on the back of the pack a little bit more. Biffle a little loose in turn 3. He's been dealing with tight conditions so far, but a little understeer that time. Well, that stack up definitely hurt Biffle. Now he might be in need for a caution, only because Fedewa is closing in. Fedewa's been dealing with no traffic, all clean air. Biffle's been dealing with nothing but traffic at the back of the pack right now. And not having that fast of a car to begin with for himself is definitely not helping either. Might have grazed the wall off the exit of turn 1. Oh, he's hit the inside wall at this track. Yeah, I did that once already. Did that in turn 1 on like lap 3. Haven't done it since. But no practice at qualifying definitely hurt. Not only missed the setup at the get-go, but I mean, most of it's because I missed the setup. That and starting it at the back, of course, doesn't help either. Odds are stacked against Biffle tonight. Great corner that time through turn 2 for Biffle. Contact in front of him. The 113 going to move the 22 of Jason Keller out of the way. It's going to allow Biffle to get underneath Keller as well as 113's clear down into turn 1. So that definitely allowed Biffle to make a pass, and thought he was going to have a chance to get underneath the 113 that time. Not quite. Turn 3, he'll get to the inside of him off the exit. Back to the start-finish line. Now he'll have the bottom into turn 1. Hits his marks. Now he's on the bottom into turn 2. He's going to be 3 wide, potentially in the middle. Contact. Clipping a car into the outside wall, and now Biffle's stuck on the outside. Keller back to the inside of him. He's not been on the outside yet today. Now he gets ran up the track. Contact with Keller pinching him into the wall. Parker's going to get around in the 86. And Biffle going backwards again, losing a couple positions in that transition. He's back to 38th, and maybe a second, if that, ahead of Jason Keller. Or, sorry, Tim Fedewa, the race leader. Cerebral Assassin, welcome to the stream. Keller making contact with that 113 car again. Looks like the 113 put the bumper to Keller. Now, Vito is dealing with lap traffic right now, so that may slow him up just a bit more compared to the pace he was running. And he had no cars to pass in front of him. I have not struggled this bad in a while. The car, I'm telling you guys right now, this is the tightest car I think I've driven in this game. NASCAR 21 ignition, you know, that's kind of common, but not in this game. And low downforce, not making it any easier. Biffle gonna get to the inside of Billy Parker off the exit of turn 2. Will drive it deep into 3. He wiggles. He gets up into Parker. Contact is made. He'll make the pass nonetheless. Gets back down to the bottom in time. Parker trying to challenge again on the top. Mike Briesman, welcome to the stream. What do I think of Kyle Busch? I think he is one of the greatest NASCAR drivers. I think he's a top 10 NASCAR driver of all time, personally. With where he's at in his career right now, I think that is justifiable. One of the greatest talents I think we've seen in the last 15 years in NASCAR. You know, you exclude Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon, I'd say, honestly, in the last 15 years, I'd even go further than that. Let's go last 20 years. In the last 20 years in NASCAR, I'd say Kyle Busch would be on the Mount Rushmore of the last 20 years of NASCAR. I think that's fair to say. I think you'd put Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, and you'd put Kyle Busch up there too. I think Harvick is very close, but that extra championship, I think you'd have to give it to Kyle Busch. Plus, not only an extra championship, but he's been in the Cup Series a few years less than what Harvick was as well. And they've got about the same amount of wins. He's had some issues off the track which have rubbed fans the wrong way. When I was younger, I'd say I probably wasn't a fan. As I've gotten older, I've grown to appreciate drivers, you know, that have, I guess, charisma in a way. And this kind of fashion, and I like to just, you know, see everybody's outcry, and I find it entertaining. I find it entertaining. Oh, so you're a fan of Kurt and Kyle. I guess if you're automatically a fan of one, you're probably a little bit of a fan of the other. Guess that makes sense. Oh, jeez. Full overdriving turn 1. Again, he's got a tight race car. Got into the wall. Still back in the 37th position right now. I think Tim Fita was the next car in line behind Biffle. I don't think there's any lap cars between the top two anymore. And Biffle just overdrove turn 3. He plowed the inside wall. He did that in turn 1 a few laps into the race. Now he did it in turn 3. His car's so tight, he's trying to get down to the bottom as quickly as he can, and that time it was too quickly. Biffles ran down Jason Keller again. He got around him earlier, but Keller was able to cross him over after Biffle made a bit of a mistake. Biffle trying to get back to the inside of Keller. Keller pulls him a bit in turn 2. The reason why these guys are pulling him in turn 2 is because Biffle's having to lift in an area of the track where he probably shouldn't be lifting. We're already 60 laps complete. And he has only made 6 positions since the start of the race, after starting last. Cause your... I'm not going to do that. That's cheap. No, we let the race play out naturally on this channel. Oh, man, and the wall off turn 2 now. That's one thing, though, with this race going caution-free so far. It's made for a very fast race pace. The fact that we are already coming to lap 64. Race 200, welcome to the stream. Play Heat 5 and Ignition 21. And we played Heat 5, Heat 4 on the channel. We do play NASCAR 21 Ignition on the channel from time to time. We're only doing one more season of that game just because I can't bear the game anymore, but we're in the middle of our final season over there. We just ran a race last night at Kansas, or attempted to at least until the game basically crashed 41 laps in, but I guess you'll have that with that game. Ethan, welcome to the stream. Gotta hustle indeed. Tim Fita was still the next car behind Biffle. There's a lot of traffic ahead of the 60. He hasn't been able to pass well in this one, but he better find a way to do it. Quickly gets underneath the 113 car. He's got to get around these guys cleanly, too. He does in turn 1, and now he's up to 36th again. Saw some sparks flying with some contact ahead in turn 2. I believe the 119 car got in the back of the 124. Oh, Biffle into the side of Keller. He was expecting Keller to go up near the wall a lot more off the exit of turn 3, rather, and he didn't. Kind of stayed on the bottom. Now Keller goes wide, and Keller's in the wall in turn 2. Keller a little tight up, or a little loose maybe off the exit of turn 3, then he gets tight in turn 2 on the next lap. 2 of the last 3 cars Biffle's passed cleanly at least, up to 34th. Trying to get going. Trying to put cars in between him and the race leader. Helps at their 4th position as well. Restall Cup, welcome to the stream. Favorite Kyle Busch scheme? His Kellogg's number 5's up there. Always been a fan of the Kellogg schemes, whether it's Terry Labonte, Kyle Busch, even Carl Edwards. Not my favorite Tony the Tiger scheme of all time, so I wouldn't put that number 1. His Interstate Battery scheme this year looks really good. I don't know if I'd put that as my favorite, though. Honestly, just the traditional M&M schemes I've always liked. I'm sure most people have always liked. Whether it was Elliott Sadler, Ken Schrader, Kyle Busch. So I'm trying to think of like a paint scheme that universally has really only been ran with Kyle Busch. Got a bit of contact. The 124 car, and that hooked the 60 into the outside wall off the exit of turn 2. Gained a spot, then lost a spot right back to 34th again because of it. He stayed green, still caution free. I'm really trying to think about my favorite Kyle Busch scheme, and I'm not entirely sure. Some of the Halloween M&M schemes have looked pretty good. Zombie Skittles one was pretty good too. Any of the Skittles cars, really. Has Kyle Busch ever had a bad paint scheme? Can't think of one off the top of my head. We'll bump and run to the 124 car. For 33rd. HendrickCars.com, the Hendrick.com cars, HendrickCars.com, yeah, I had it right the first time. Those ones seem kind of bland to me. I appreciate them, you know, because it's kind of more of a Ricky Hendrick, you know, somewhat tribute paint scheme. But the car itself, just kind of, eh. That's me personally, at least. Crispy M&M's, yes. Biffle almost in the wall in turn 1. And to lift off the exit of the corner just to keep it off the wall. I'm going to be honest, I don't know if I can pick a favorite Kyle Busch scheme. I've kind of rattled off the ones I like the most. I can't decide of those ones which one I like the most. I don't think I can make a definitive answer. Contact with the 86 car of Shane Kirkland. Pass was still made though for Greg Biffle. He's up another spot. I'm going to save my predictions for Phoenix until my predictions video for the live stream. I can't remember who I have on my preseason predictions. I can't remember. I want to say I might have chosen Chase Elliott originally to win, but I'm not sure. As far as the week-to-week predictions, though, with how the season's gone so far, and plus the statistics going into this week, I haven't done much research on it, to be honest, so far this week. But the predictions live stream before we go live for the race commentary on Sunday. I'll have my final answer by then. That was a great corner in turn 1. Biffle's able to back it up quite a bit. It's going to allow him to carry a lot of speed in through turn 2. He gains ground on Luke Nixon ahead of him. Now into turn 3, side by side. He's underneath Nixon. Trying to side draft that left rear corner panel just a bit into turn 1. So hard not to overdrive the car, especially when you battle for positions at this racetrack. But Biffle will make the pass, and he's finally cracked the top 30. It's taken him 89 laps just to move up 13 positions from last to 30th in this race. The problem is, he's still 16 seconds off the lead, and there's not that many lap cars, or lead lap cars, I guess, between where Tim Fedewa, the race leader's at, who has led the first 90 laps at the line this time, and where Greg Biffle is at 30th. He's trying to make another pass on the 119. He will. Jimmy Hill, Mike Bliss, and Sean Batson will be the next 3 cars ahead of the Biff. Biffle makes a pass on Jimmy Hill for position up to 28th. Starting to pass cars a little bit easier these last few laps. I think he might be a little bit better on the longer run, at least with the cars around him for position. Not sure it matters. I don't think he's as fast as the leader still. He's going to get underneath the 20 of Mike Bliss now. Has the advantage into turn 3. And he's clear. Up to 27th. The dark chocolate M&M's cars I've always liked too. Best candy car of all time, though, is, in my personal opinion, is still the Reese's 21 Busch Series car. Kevin Harvick and Clint Boyer. Specifically, Harvick drove it, but Boyer did drive it, I believe, 1 year, or at least part-time 1 year. That's my favorite candy car of all time. I have that die-cast behind me. I don't have any Kyle Busch die-casts currently. I don't hate any drivers in NASCAR, to be completely honest. Like, when I was younger, I didn't like, you know, Kyle Busch, but outside of that, you know, pretty much, once I got into my teen years, I haven't really disliked anybody. Full overdrove turn 3, hit that inside wall. Third time he's clipped an inside wall today in the first 100 laps. And that allowed Hermie Sadler to get back around him after he passed Hermie the lap before. Yeah, that 2008 Snickers car was pretty good for Kyle Busch. I should say I do have Kyle Busch. I do have some Kyle Busch diecast. I just don't have any in the 124 scale behind me. I've got a few 164 scale. Like, I have his 2008 M&M's car. Car of Tomorrow. I've got the Gen 6. I think it's an M&M's Caramel. I say caramel. I don't know who says caramel, but I say caramel. It was a caramel M&M's. I think those are the only two I have of Kyle Busch in the 164 from when I was younger. Contact with Sean Batson. And a bump and run on him for 25th. Oh, 3 wide. We haven't seen this. Biffle's going to try it, though, into turn 1. He couldn't even hold it down there. The 56 in the middle of Cody Holt was able to power through. Oh, contact! David Green came down as Biffle was coming up. Biffle able to get back down to the bottom before Batson could get underneath him. Oh, trouble! Car around, David Green. Multiple cars have to evade the pit lane. He gets drilled by Greg Biffle. Was not expecting cars to pit right there. David Green gets junked in turn 2, and that's our first caution of the race today. The entire field just checked up because there were some cars pitting, but it's such a blind corner in turn 2 that Biffle had no clue there were cars in the pit lane. Or at least making their way in. I don't know that we can make it on fuel. Yeah, there's some drivers staying out of the pits right now. And I personally don't doubt. There's no way these guys can make it on fuel from now to the end of the race. We're just shy of halfway still. Green flag back in the air at lap 111. Greg Biffle going to lead the field with green. That's going to give him 5 bonus points. Not the way he really wanted to have the 5 bonus points, and now he's on older tires compared to the rest of the field. Contact with the wall. Still stuck on the outside. He lost the lead, but he still gets the 5 bonus points because his laps led were under caution. Squeezes back down to the bottom lane. Already back to 4th. And a little bit older tires too. Try to keep the track position. We'll see if we get another caution flag. Obviously not the way we wanted to see one. Biffle was, I guess, involved in the sense that he had accidentally turned. Oh my goodness, David Green hard into the outside wall with the right front fender. And that fender's in the red for Greg Biffle right now. Can't get down to the bottom. Busch is there, and he overdrives the corner. He's in the wall again. He's got to be very careful. That right front's going to be soft to the end of the race. Manny Brown going 3 wide to the outside. Teddy Buchanan just doors Greg Biffle down to the bottom as well as he's trying to make his way underneath. Biffle on these old tires just trying to survive right now. Makes a pass on one of the lap cars. 3 wide into turn 1 just up ahead, but they made it through. Clips the inside wall again in turn 3. 3 times it's been in turn 3. Did it in turn 1 once early in the race. Biffle 5 seconds off the race lead. I think that's Craig Miller in the 168 car who is the leader right now. Tim Feeta will let every lap leading to that first caution. Unfortunately, I'm not sure where he cycled out of the pits. Must not have had a good stop because he wasn't right behind Biffle on the restart either. 2x2 into turn 1 ahead of Biffle. Yeah, honestly, with old tires, Biffle's somewhat competitive. Made a little contact with Jimmy Hill that time off the exit of turn 1. Hill is a lap down, though. Biffle closes in on Shane Kirkland in front of him. Takes the dive into turn 1. Contact with Kirkland just knocked him into the wall. Kirkland also a lap down. Biffle's got to be careful having any sort of damage on the right side, specifically the right front, because it's in the red. He hasn't DNF'd in the Busch Series yet this season. He'd like to keep it that way. We're halfway home currently at the Levi Strauss Signature Speedway. The problem is with those guys pitting under the caution, even if Biffle, well, we know Biffle can't make it, but even if they can't make it to the end, they're going to stay out quite a ways yet. Biffle's obviously going to have to pit well before, considering we went over 100 laps. Just over 100 laps before that caution. Tim Feedwell has gotten back to the lead. He's clearly got the fastest car in the field today. And he's showing more of that right now. Contact. Biffle's only got 1/8 of a tank of fuel left. Oh man, that is not good. We're just past halfway. And he's probably going to have to pit within the next dozen laps. Oh, contact 3 wide up ahead. They made it through. A little loose into turn 3. Race 200's a fellow Ohioan, I see. Oh, wow, almost in the wall off turn 2. Car down towards the bottom. That was Nick Richardson. Make a pass. Dropping Biffle back to 10th. Biffle's definitely losing time from Fedowa. He was hanging in there with whoever the leader was for a brief moment. After Fedowa got the lead, he's losing time. The problem is he's probably going to lose about 2 laps on pit road. Unless he takes a gamble and takes right sides only. That's asking a lot out of the left side tires. Biffle just staying out hoping for a caution. He's not going to be able to stay out much longer. Fuel tank is almost dry. 6 seconds off the race lead in 10th. He was able to lead laps under caution. He hasn't let a green flag lap yet today. He's going to pull to the bottom and he'll have to pull into the pits this time by. He could have went a couple more laps, but he'll take it. 4 tires and fuel. Not going to make any adjustments just to try and keep the stop as quick as possible, but he will have to take 4 tires. He's probably going to go 2 laps down if I had to imagine. And this is going to drop Biffle right back in the running order again as he did not get the caution he needed. Now he's just got to hope we stay green long enough for the rest of the field to make their stop. And at least they get to repair that right front fender that was heavily damaged after turning David green, bringing out our first and only caution of the race thus far. After that stack up with some cars coming into the pits. Yep, so Biffle 2 laps down as we figured he would be. And he came out right with David Green, of course. Kind of clipped him on the way out, too. Well, this is not good. Still have a little over 100 laps to go yet, but on this track, we know that's not going to be very long. Yep, the Mr. Clean pit crew making a clean stop. Fortunately, Biffle is in last place. 2 laps down. He's going to try to pick up as much time as he can. He's got fresher tires than the rest of the field right now, so that could be an advantage. Should be an advantage. Ideally, he'd like to get 1 lap back and then get a caution, and then he would get to line up with the leaders on the inside. Get another lap back, then get another caution to line back up with them. That's the ideal situation right now for Greg Biffle. Definitely nowhere near as tight as what he was before with these fresh tires for right now. He'll tighten up as the run goes on again. Not making any adjustment changes during that stop. Ooh, man. Hermie Sadler into the wall off the exit of turn 1. Biffle made a clean pass on him. He definitely crowded him, though. They nearly made contact. Sadler definitely tried to give Biffle as much room as he could. Biffle pulls low underneath David Green. A bit of contact with Green. These two have already gotten into each other once in this race. Definitely not the race Greg Biffle wanted from a points standpoint. And it looks like that top 10 streak of 8 to start the season's in jeopardy. Forget 8 top 10s, 8 top 5s in the first 8 races. 8 top 3s in the first 8 races. Biffle's won all but 2 races. The 2 races he didn't win, he finished 2nd and 3rd. 2nd at Talladega, 3rd at Rockingham. Oh, contact right in front of him off the exit of turn 1. It's between Barry Weiler and then the 119 car as well. Biffle drove it in pretty flat into turn 3, making contact with the 119 car. Definitely didn't get the corner to stick that time. Bit too deep. Just gets underneath Wilder off the exit of turn 3. Should be able to make a clean pass on him, and he does. He's about a half a lap behind Fedor right now. He's slowly closing in on him. Fedor's got a lot of lap traffic in front of him, too. And again, Biffle has fresher tires. Yeah, we didn't pit under the caution, Dark Crypto, and we were able to lead laps under the caution flag, got 5 bonus points, started to drop back to about 10th before we had to pit, trying to get some track position. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to wait for the rest of the field to pit and hope that a caution doesn't come out for the meantime. If they somehow can make it, Biffle's just going to have to try to gain every spot he possibly can at this point. It's been rough from the get-go. Even before that first caution, he only got up to 25th on speed, and that was after 100 laps. So I think it's fair to say on equal tires with the rest of the field, Greg Biffle does not have a fast car whatsoever. Oh, contact nearly turned Al Wiggins. Wiggins didn't take a wide exit to that corner like Biffle was hoping he would. As Biffle's coming up the track, Wiggins kind of held his line in the middle. No caution. It's alright, Biffle doesn't need to see a caution right now. Better that it stayed green. I think they repaired that right front fender that was pretty soft. Oh, trouble nearly. There's a car up in smoke on the inside. It's Terry Cook. That slowed Biffle up quite a bit. He got into the back of one of the lap cars. That might bring out a caution. I think he was able to get into the pits. That's unfortunate. That slowed Biffle up a ton. Now he's in the wall in turn 2. Terry Cook in the 10 car was the one up in smoke and blew an engine. That's another spot for Biffle, at least. It's the first driver that's blown an engine today. It took 160 laps. Finally have the first driver out of the race. But that slowed Biffle up quite a bit, and he hit the car in front of him, who I couldn't tell who it was because of how quickly it all transpired, but that's going to add some damage to the front of the car, and I could tell immediately after the contact, Biffle's car has gotten extremely tight once again. Probably put a hole in the nose. Starting to have an arrow push once again. This time, it is not just because of the car itself, it's because of the damage to the car. It's a good thing Biffle's got a big points lead. He shouldn't lose a points lead even with a finish as far back in the field as he's running now, but it's going to be back to a close points battle once again. There's still a lot of traffic in front of Fedewa, but there's also a lot of traffic between Fedewa and Biffle also. .112 car, Nick Richardson right in front of Biffle, not going anywhere. Staying on that bottom lane right now. Biffle not able to get around him at all. Biffle's getting slowed up. He's faster on the fresher tires, but he's too tight to be able to work his way to the inside of him. There he goes. He got a little bit tight in the center of the corner. A lot of side-by-side action going on in front of him. Richardson to the inside of the 152. Biffle gets into the 152. Oh, he gets underneath Richardson. Makes a pass on him. He squeezed him quite a bit trying to make sure he was going to clear. 3 wide with the traffic in front of the Biff. This is a mess up here. Somebody made contact. Jumping the 113 car a bit loose into turn 3. More contact in turn 2. Biffle's just hoping everybody can hold on to it. As I said that, he makes contact with the car. There's more contact in front of him as well. Makes a clean pass on Lance Brantley at least. Gets underneath the 123. Clean pass on the 123 car. He's all clear off the exit of turn 2. Biffle overdrives turn 3. 4th time he's gotten into the turn 3 inside wall. Overdriving the corner. Did it in turn 1 once earlier too. Biffle is up to 39, so he has gained some positions with the passes he's made over the last few laps. Some other cars that are a couple laps down. .17 car. Biffle lifted to hop back in line behind him. I don't think Biffle's going to catch Fedewa. And there's still 75 laps to go, but a little less than that considering he's 2 laps down. 72 to go at the line. There are so many lap cars between the 12 and the 60. And he's still about a third of a track behind him yet, too. The only difference maker is that Biffle's got fresher tires. And not by much, maybe only 30 laps at the most. Which is significant at a track like this, but not when you have a 25th place car on speed. Compared to the fastest car in the field, it's really probably not that big of a difference. They're probably pretty equal on speed. It's just the management of lap traffic at this point that's making a big difference. 3 by 3 though through turn 3. Biffle trying to find a hole. He's making clean passes through it. So far. No, a little contact with the 124, nothing major. Doesn't want to cause a caution. Oh, he's in the wall. And he's in the wall again in turn 2, and he nearly gets turned into the inside wall. He did, but no caution. He kind of pancaked it with the left side. Got in the wall in turn 1 on the outside, and he did it again in turn 2, and it ricocheted him into the car that was underneath him, and now he's damaged the inside of the race car. And loses more time to Fedewa in the process. There's been an uphill battle and a steep uphill battle all day long for Biffle. This is where the shorter Busch Series race lengths hurts him. If this was a Cup race, we'd have an extra 150 laps. Biffle wouldn't feel as much pressure at this juncture of the race. We'd be still just shy of halfway. Instead, we have only about 65 laps to go. Oh, that's going to cause a yellow. No, no, it didn't. Whoa, hang on. They're not done yet. Trey Murray and Greg Biffle all over one another with a ton of contact off of turn 2. They're trying to wreck, they just haven't done it yet. That was for position too. Biffle up to 33rd with that pass. I mean, he's almost a half a track behind Fido again. He was just under a third of a track behind him, or a third of a lap behind him, and now he's about a half a lap behind him again. I think he's just kind of got to race his own race at this point. Hope that the field can't make it on fuel. Not sure if they can or can't. Maybe some drivers can and some drivers can. We know Biffle's good because he pitted under green flag conditions 30 laps or so after the restart. But I'm not sure about the rest of the field if they can make it or not. Went green about lap 117. Again, was about 8 laps shy of the halfway mark. Count the caution laps, Biffle pitted about lap 137, 138. Thinking these guys may be good to the end. So we usually see some drivers short pit as soon as the window opens. And we haven't seen that. Biffle's literally been the only car that has pitted since the restart. Gonna alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today. In the wall in turn 2. He lost the bottom because he pushed wide off the exit of turn 2, and the 139 may get around him. And he will. And Biffle just can't hook the outside. In the wall. He was out of the gas for a long time in turn 1, and he still got in the wall. .50 laps to go at the line that time. The Levi Strauss Signature Speedway. Tim Fido has absolutely dominated the field this race after qualifying on the pole. Caution! Trouble! Turn 3. Multiple cars in the inside wall. This is going to be an interesting strategy game now. And Kyle Busch has gone around. Another one of the championship front runners early in the season. So Biffle has had problems. Kyle Busch now has had problems. It looked like David Stremme turned Busch after Busch checked up. Very similar to when David Green got turned off the front bumper of Greg Biffle earlier in the race. And we'll see if the field will pit here, because if they do not, Greg Biffle's going to pit. He's already 2 laps down. We have 50 laps to go when the caution came out. Biffle's still going to be 2 down. So he'll take 4 tires. And they are going to go to work on the race car adjustment-wise. They're going to take a round out of the wedge here. And they're going to add a pound of air pressure as well. So a couple different adjustments for the 60 team of Greg Biffle, trying to do what they can with just less than 50 laps left when we head to the restart. And Mr. Clean Crew will go to work. Try to buff out some of those fenders once again, as that 60 car has been beat up today. Maybe for that reason it's a good thing that this race is only 250 laps. It's not a cup race, because I don't know if we'd make it to the end of a cup race here, the way things have gone, at least so far today. So Greg Biffle was the only car on pit road, so that tells me they can make it on fuel to the end. This is obviously going to save them a few more laps as well. A lot of lap cars for Biffle to pass. He's going to be at the rear of the field anyway. He kind of spins the tires on the restart, but the green flag is back in the air. Tim Fedewa will lead the field to the green. Biffle's got a lot fresher tires than the rest of the field now. He's probably got a good 70 to 80 laps fresher tires than the rest of the field. A lot of contact in front of him on the restart. Contact at turn 2, trying to go side by side. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is taking the lead for the first time today on the restart. So Fedewa loses the lead. Wonder how much of it had to do with the lap cars on the inside of the lead lap cars. Biffle's definitely going to work. The adjustment changes. 70 to 80 lap pressure tires. It's getting a little on the loose side in turn 3. Loose is fast if you can hang on to it. Loose is also scary on this track because how easy it is just to hit the inside wall. He was doing it when he was tight earlier. Pretty big stack up getting into turn 2 that time. Couple easy passes on the bottom for Biffle. Oh, he gets a bit loose, keeps it in control. He didn't overcorrect it. He's up to 31st. About where he was running before the caution anyway. It was a good idea to take tires while everybody else stayed out. Might actually salvage a top 20 out of this. I think he's got a good capability of getting a lap back as well. Where before, I think he was going to finish 2 down. He's probably going to only finish 1 down now. A lot of contact in turn 1. A lot of contact in turn 2. Off the exit, there has been probably more contact on the restart. We've seen variants of contact throughout the course of this one. Up to 25th. Not sure how many more cars are 2 laps down for him to race with. Problem is there's no free pass in the Busch series if he does get to 1 lap down. He's going to have to legitimately unlap himself the old-fashioned way here twice. And he has had to pass every car in the field, lap car, lead lap car, just to get to the leaders off of this restart. But again, 70 to 80 lap fresh tires making it a lot easier for him. Plus, he made a wedge adjustment. We have a car in the wall in turn 2 back behind Biffle. No caution, we stay green. Biffle needs it to stay green now. At least before he gets one lap back. Then if we get a caution, so be it. But he has to get that lap back first. Probably get there with about 30 laps to go if I had to guess. Maybe a little less than that. Actually lose with a big block on Kyle Busch. But he will make a clean pass nevertheless for position on Busch, who was involved in that last caution. Him and David Stremme. Trying to miss the lap car who was up in smoke in front of those guys. Oh, contact. Oh, Hornaday in the wall. He nearly goes around into turn 3. Got squeezed by Biffle. Great save by Hornaday. That had caution written all over it. Oh, we got slow cars on the bottom. Slow cars on the bottom. Fiedel gets held up. Biffle gets by all those guys. That might bring out a caution here before long with that giant stack up. They're still stacking up in turn 2. Biffle got through there with no damage whatsoever. Fiedel loses a bunch of positions in the middle of it. And there is no contest right now for Bobby Hamilton Jr. all of a sudden with that stack up. It has really bunched that field together. So we continue to stay green with about 29 laps to go now. Clean air for Biffle to try and run down the 25. He's up to 24th place. Might be some cars one lap down that got stacked up too. Biffle's definitely catching Bobby Hamilton Jr. A lot of heavy lap traffic. Hamilton has not won this race yet. There's still enough time for those guys back there to catch him, but he's got some breathing room to say the least. As he's catching the lap traffic in front of him, Biffle's really closing in to get one of his 2 laps back. And from that point on... Oh, Hamilton gets tight, nearly gets into the side of Jimmy Hill in turn 3. Contact in turn 3 with those lap cars. Biffle to the inside of Hamilton. Oh, Jimmy Hill's in the wall in turn 2. Biffle just got one of his 2 laps back on Hamilton that time in turn 3. 3 wide in front of Greg Biffle in turn 2. And they made it. They're still 3 wide into turn 3. I haven't seen much of it today. I mean, maybe once or twice, and that's about it. Oh, contact. Full 3 wide now on the bottom in 3. Makes some passes. Contact in front of him. Three wide off the exit of turn 3. 64 car in the middle. Mike Bliss was on the outside. Biffle has not passed anybody that's 1 lap down yet. Wide off turn 3 again. 20 laps to go. Levi Strauss Signature Speedway. Three wide in front of Biffle yet. Pass for position through turn 3. That's for 23rd. Racing for the bottom into turn 3 underneath Luke Nixon. A bit of contact. Bump and run for 22nd. To 21st. Now Biffle's cracked the top 20. Gets into Batson. Batson wiggles. Another pass for position. Biffle gets around him. He just squeezed Batson right in the wall in turn 2. That caution really was a saving grace for Biffle. I don't even know if he was going to get a top 30 without the caution. Now he's inside the top 20. Up to 19th. Turning chicken you-know-what into chicken salad. This race could end under caution if we get one late enough in the race. Expressing that because we have had a couple cautions right around the last 100 laps, and Biffle near the wall in turn 2, trying to get everything he can out of the race car, using every square inch of the asphalt. Bump and run on Castleberry. Biffle's definitely pulled Hamilton since getting around him. He's definitely not going to have enough time to be able to get back on the lead lap if this stays green. Ooh, Kenny Wallace nearly making contact with the 107 car. Only seen 2 drivers blow an engine in today's race. One in between the first and second caution, and one since the second caution. Biffle gets in the wall a bit in turn 1, gets back down to the bottom before losing the bottom. 10 laps to go. 9 for Biffle now, considering he's a lap down. Three more cars in front of Biffle. I don't know if he's going to catch anybody else after these guys. Just hoping that some of them are for position. It's underneath the 123, who is definitely not for position because he was, the last time he passed him, he was 2 laps down. Kyle Busch in the 5 car. He's on the lead lap. He's involved in caution number 2. It's like Biffle really pulled Busch in turn 2. Busch may have gotten a bit out of shape. Pass on David Green, who's likely also on the lead lap. 3 laps to go for Bobby Hamilton Jr. at the start-finish line. There's still 4 more cars up here that are racing pretty hard in front of Biffle. No cautions come out on the final lap. Stating that in case we get another stack up or a big wreck potentially coming to the checker. We're going to take it 3 wide into turn 2. Final lap. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has just gotten to the white flag. There's Biffle to the white flag himself. There's Craig Miller and Ron Hornaday in front of him yet. Oh, contact with Hornaday. That wasn't for a position, though. He just put it in the wall at turn 2 as well. He's not going to get to Miller now. He was driving hard trying to get there, but not even sure if he would have been for position anyway. Greg Biffle will bring it home in 19th today. He made something out of nothing. Bobby Hamilton Jr. will steal the win, taking the lead on the late restart with less than 50 laps to go from Tim Fedewa, who dominated and led over half the laps in today's race. Take a quick rundown of the finishing order. Hamilton Jr. led the final 46 laps. Those were his only 46 laps he led tonight. Tim Fedewa led 185 of the 250 laps, but was unable to get the win from the pole, finishes 3rd. Tough break for him. This is the first win of the season for Bobby Hamilton Jr., though. Fedewa was, unfortunately, looking for his first. Tiny Buchanan finishes in 2nd. He made it through that scrum on the restart as well, just like Hamilton was kind of able to have smooth sailing to the end there. Craig Miller, who was right in front of Biffle at the end, was actually in 5th place. He led 16 laps today. I believe that was after the first caution of the day. He ended up taking the lead from Fedewa. And then the second one, Hamilton took it away. So Fedewa not that great on the restarts today and ultimately cost him the win. Ashton Lewis would finish in 6th. Ron Hornaday in 7th. Nick Richardson 8th. David Green 9th. And Kyle Busch rounds out the top 10 today. And Greg Biffle finished first car 1 lap down in 19th. He led 3 laps. They were all under caution. Those were the only 3 laps he led in today's race. His first finish outside the top 10 this season. And then the drivers who DNF'd today would be Terry Cook, Lance Brantley, and Jared Holmes, all blue engine. So I guess we had 3 drivers that blew an engine today. I didn't see Brantley blow an engine earlier. You know what? He was the car that was blowing up when the caution came out for Kyle Busch spinning off the front bumper of David Stremme, now that I think about it. That's who Busch was checking up for. And then Stremme ran into the back of him. So that would explain it. So I guess we did see 3 engine failures in today's race. We'll take a look at that point standings before we get out of here tonight. 19th, not the best, but at least he didn't DNF. Yeah, we were close there for a little bit. That right front fender was in the red before we made our first of 2 stops on the day. But once we made it there, at least we made it to the end. And honestly, if it wasn't for that last caution with less than 50 to go, we would have been stuck out there. We would have had 30-lap pressure tires on the field. We were making some passes, but not many. We probably weren't going to get inside the top 30. But because we had another caution like 40 laps after the first one, or the first time we pit, we were able to pit under caution when we were 2 laps down. We got one of our laps back on the restart, and we were able to drive up to 19th and ended up finishing the first car 1 lap down. Free pass wouldn't have came about even if we did get a caution, so I wouldn't have gotten back on the lead lap that way. Still would have had to race my way back around because there's no free pass in the Busch Series in this game. Only in the Cup side. Trucks might have it, but I know for a fact the Busch Series doesn't. Ice Shanty 300 at Old Spice Speedway will be the next race. That will be race number 10, and that will be tomorrow night on the channel. So 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night for the Ice Shanty 300 at the Old Spice Speedway. That's going to be a long race on a road course. By Busch Series standards especially, 200 laps. But that could be a wild card race. Greg Biffle's points lead got deducted tonight with the 19th place finish. Kyle Busch finished 10th, so he actually didn't gain as much as what it was looking like. Kyle Busch also didn't lead any laps. Biffle led 3 laps, so he got 5 bonus points today. Even though he only led under caution, didn't lead a green flag lap tonight. If you lead a lap, you lead a lap. That's worth 5 bonus points, so I guess it was, at least for an incentive at the time to stay out of the pits, it actually kind of helped us just a bit more. We need all the points we can get. And Bobby Hamilton Jr. went on to win. It wasn't a max points day, but he did get the win, led 46 laps. And he's now up to 3rd in points. Gains at least 1 spot. I don't think he passed Stremme, but he did move up 1 spot in the standings today. And he is now sitting in 3rd, 193 back. I want to see where the next highest Cup regular is before we get out of here. Dale Jr. is in 13th. I think he's missed 3 races and he's 13th in points. If that tells you how good of a season he's had so far when he's racing these Busch races. I know he has won once. He won the Rockingham race. And he's finished up towards the front of the line. I know he finished 2nd to us twice. He's had some good races this season too, but first one of the year for Bobby Hamilton Jr. But I will see you guys tomorrow night again at 6 on this game. Live realistic commentary as always. Thanks for watching. Like, share, but most importantly, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Hit that subscribe button down below. And I'll see you guys back and better than ever again tomorrow. Thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of your night.